Good evening, guys. Welcome to Jack Slayter Notes. We've been it's been long since we are going to upload some videos. I have been in some personal problems, so I didn't upload in couple of days, almost a month, I think. And with coming CTET examination, I think I will try harder to give important notes and uh, stuff helpful for September 6 and everything. So anyway, without wasting any time, welcome to Jack's later notes. What we already did set 3, 1, 2, 3 of SST, social studies, social science, and we did 3 set of CDP and 3 set of social studies. And yes, we are further back. Uh, Plan was to do 20 set by June, and it's almost the end of July. So yeah, we are further back. But now I'm going to try to catch up. So this is the set 4 of 30 MCQ with some elaborate notes and discussions. So let's continue. Question number 1: Which of the following acts show acceptance of diversity options, including more language in the ed schedule of Indian Constitution, building shopping complexes to be run by traders of specific community? So that is not something. Option B, that is not something shows acceptance of diversity. Giving admission in school to children from different social groups. Now that is acceptance of social diversity. So our answer should be A and C. Yes, answer is A and C. Question number 2: In the late 18th century, the presidencies of Bombay, Madras, and Bengal developed from which of the following East India Company mm, trading posts? Option: Nagpur, Madurai, Delhi; Pune, Madras, Calcutta; Surat, Madurai, Delhi; or Surat, Madras, Calcutta. And the answer is Surat, Madras, and Calcutta. So here's the description. The three major presidencies of the British East India Company developed from its important trading settlements, right? Bombay Presidency developed after the company's activities at Surat and later Bombay. And Madras Presidency developed from Madras, that is Fort St. George. And Bengal Presidency developed from Calcutta, that is Fort William. And right, question number 3: Which of the following was Samudragupta's policy specifically towards the ruler of Dakshinpat? So Samudragupta policies for foreign Dakshinpat and South India, North India, and Central India. We are going to elaborate that. Options are: they submitted to Samudragupta and offered daughters in marriage. They brought tribute, followed his orders, and attended his court. They surrendered after being defeated and then were allowed to rule again. Their kingdoms were uprooted and made a part of Samudragupta's empire. So Dakshinpat, for that, he what did he do? He gave them their kingdom, but they surrendered after defeat, and then he allowed to rule again. So they surrendered, but then he also allowed them to rule again. So this is the description of how that is happened. According to the Samudragupta's Allahabad pillar inscription, that is Prayaga Prashasti, his policy towards the ruler of Dakshin Path, that is South India, was he defeated them in battle. After their surrender, he restored their kingdom instead of annexing them. He did not annex them, he let them rule. But you have to respect him because he defeated them, but he gave them back. They were allowed to continue ruling as subordinate, not their own leader. They are subordinates, acknowledging his supremacy. They has to acknowledge his supremacy. That is Samudragupta's. Samudragupta followed different policy for different region depending on their distance and strategic importance. Like I said, South, North, Central all has different strategic importance, and he, Samudragupta formed different policies for them. Number one is Aryabharta, that is northern India. So the policy was defect and annexation, but the kings of Aryabharta was defeated. Their kingdoms were incorporated into the Gupta Empire. That is Samudragupta. He take them inside. Samudragupta exercised direct control. There were no other. He did not let any other king rule like that of South India. He just directly annexed them and take him under his control over these territories. North India is equal to what? Defeat plus annex, total control of who? Samudragupta. Number two is Dakshin Pot, that is South India. Policy is defeat and reinstatement. Reinstatement meaning he put some other in that place. So, southern rulers were defeated, they surrounded and accepted his supremacy, their kingdoms were returned to them. South India is equal to what? Defeat plus restore. He restored that, but with him as their superior leader. Then come Atavika states, that is forest kingdoms of central India. Policy is subordination. Forest chiefs were subdued. They became his servants or feudatories. These areas were not directly annexed. They are not directly annexed, but central forest is equal to made subordinate. They are, subparts. They can use them whenever they want. It's his under control. That's the thing. Then come frontier states and republics. That is, example includes state in the Himalayan and northern region. Policy were tributes and allegiance because they had to give them tribute in form of whatever they can, gold or vegetables, whatever types of things, valuable things they can give them. They were tribute and allegiance. They accepted Samudragupta's overlordship. He was their lord, paid tribute, obeyed his commands, and attended his courts. Border states is equal to what? Tribute plus loyalty they showed. Then comes foreign power and distant kingdoms. Example included ruler of Sri Lanka and other distant territories. There were diplomatic relations because they, because of the distance of the place, he cannot send troops and full control, because then their locals will uprise and then take him down, and they would put a shame on his kingdom and all that. That's why what he does is send embassies, gift and tribute, sort friendly relations, because there are many marriage allegiances to form a good relationship between him and distant foreign kingdoms. Reorganize his prestige and power. Foreign rule is equal to what? Diplomacy and gifts. Then come question number 4. Which of the following was not a feature of Athenian democracy? That Athens, democracy of Athens. All children were expected to serve in an army and navy. Option B. All the citizens attended assemblies that were held for discipline, deciding upon matters. Appointment for many positions were made through lottery. All the free men and women above 30 years of age were reorganized as recognized, sorry, reorg, reorg, damn it, recognized. Sometimes tongue mess with you. Recognized as full citizens. So the answer is what? All the free men and women above 30 years of age were recognized as full citizens. That is the thing or law or option of Athenian democracy. In Athenian democracy, only adult male citizens could participate in political life. Women, slaves, and foreigners, that is, Mathis, were not considered citizens and could not vote or attend the assembly. Explanation of the other option, that is, all citizens are expected to serve in the army and navy. True, of course, citizens attended assemblies or to uh, discuss and public matter. True, many public office are filled by lottery. That is true. All these are what the thing of Athenian democracy. But what not a feature is all the free men and women above 30 of age recognized as full citizen. That is not a feature, because what happens is women slaves, they were also like the question. If the answer was all the men above 30, sure, why not? But it says women slaves, they were not organized. So included women as full citizen, it is false, because hence the correct answer, because the question asked for which of the following was not a feature of Athenian democracy. One of the main thing about CTET examination is for you to read the question properly, because sometimes when you see yes, no, not, sometimes you miss them. Thoroughly if you answer the question thoroughly, if you read the question, you can answer it instantly. So that is why here was I show an example subconsciously to let you know that reading question properly is an important thing. Yeah. So we'll read more about Athenian democracy. So Athenian democracy, that is 5th century BCE, is often called the world's first democracy, but it was limited democracy. See, it was not vast like today's because only a small portion of the population, that is adult male citizens, could participate. Right? No women, slave, or any other kind of foreigner. Nothing. Athenian democracy, that is ancient Greece. Athenian democracy developed in the city state of Athens around the 5th century BCE. It is considered one of the earliest known forms of democracy. Key feature were, that is direct democracy. Unlike modern India where we elect representative, Athens practiced direct democracy. That means citizens themselves voted on important issues. That is direct democracy. Nowadays we choose what MLA, MP, and all that. They represent us in the court. Uh, Sorry, not court, in parliament or legislative assemblies and all that. But they were in Athens. They are direct because they are lesser people. If India had like what 20 crore people, we should also can have a direct democracy. We could directly, you know, there will be like two leader for president or prime minister, directly vote them. But we have like what 140 50 crores people, so we need what representatives. That is why panchayat, we also need all those kinds, whatever we can gather to decentralize democracy or decentralize the power of central power, not democracy. We don't need to decentralize, we need to decentralize what central power. That is why we have all these representatives. Option 2 is assembly, that is ecclesia, the main decision, that is making body. All male citizens could attend, discuss law, war, peace, taxes, and foreign policy. Decisions were made by majority votes. Likewise, everybody made up and they talk on different issues. Like even in today's parliament, that's how they do it. And whoever try to pass a law or a suggestions, if that suggestions or law or theory or anything could get more votes, it will get passed or law. Then comes council of 500, that is bull. They prepared matters to be discussed in the assembly. Members are chosen by lottery, served for 1 year. So they have council of 500. That council have only 500 bull there people. They were chosen by lottery. They served for 1 year. How is lottery system work? So many government positions were filled through random selection. This was done to prevent powerful families from monopolizing power. So, you know, if we if it is a democracy, then all people have the power. All people, anybody, even a peasant, a farmer, can hold the position of a higher office. So they don't, from prevent. They don't want the monopolizing of powerful families. So they do the random selection. So that is lottery system. But then again, even in India, the person of power always, subdue all that. Then come citizen soldiers. Citizens were expected to defend Athens in the army or navy when required. Citizen, meaning only adult male Athenians, usually above 18 years of age. No citizens, women, slaves, foreign residents, diplomatics. As a result, only about 10 to 15% of the population could participate in politics. Goal is a council of 500 citizens. It helped run the day-to-day affairs of Athens. It prepared the agenda of the meeting of assembly, that is ecclesia. So the thing is, Athens, that is Greek. If you watch the new Odyssey movie by Christopher Nolan, you'll see when Agamemnon going to the war, he take Odysseus, and then they they are chosen people through. However, one member of the family can go to the war. There were no women, because they were trying to save the war, Helen of Troy and all that. But when Odysseus go fight in the war, they were all men. There were no women. So that was the only thing that is correct, I think. And then they go to war, and but because of this generation's woke thing, they had to cast a transgender as a man, you know, Elliot Page or whatever. So if you watch that movie, you will see, how Athens politics and everything works. But that's not ours to study. Here is simple things that I tell you. You have to focus on that. We don't need to know the whole Greek historical to pass this CTET examination. Let's move. Okay, so here's the advantages and disadvantages of Athenian democracy. Citizens directly participate in governments. That is advantage. Reduce concentration of power. That is also advantage. Encourage public debate and political awareness. That is obviously an advantage. Then come what? Women had no political rights, slaves has no rights, foreigner could not vote, participation was limited to minority of the population. So yes, those were obviously disadvantages or limitations as you can say. Side note is the Council of 500 called the bowl pronounced as bulle. It's pronounced as bulle, not bowl. It's bulle was an important governing body in Athenian democracy. Alright, Bole is a council of 500 citizens. It helps run the day-to-day affairs of Athens. It prepared the agenda for meetings of the assembly, that is ecclesia. You can move back and read the whole thing once more to understand it properly. Or yes, or if you have any questions or any complication in understanding, you can write in the comment section and I will get back to you. Question number 5. Who among the following compiled the composition of Baba Guru Nanak in Gurumukhi, also adding his own compositions to it? Guru Angad, Guru Arjan, Guru Tegh Bahadur, or Guru Gobind? Answer is Guru Angad. So, what Guru Angad did is he compiled the composition of Baba Guru Nanak in Gurumukhi, that is his writings, but he also added his own composition to it. Do you get the point what he did? Yes, question number 6. Which of the following statement about Jataka is correct? So these were composed by ordinary people, written down and preserved by Jaina monks. They were composed by Buddhist monks, written down and preserved by ordinary people. Or these are composed by Jaina monks, written down and preserved by ordinary people. Or these were proposed by ordinary people, written down and preserved by Buddhist monks. So your answer is the fourth one, because these were Jatakas were some written documents, they are composed by ordinary people but written down and preserved by who? Buddhist monks. You remember that. Jatakas were stories about the previous birth of the Buddha. They are an important part of Buddhist literature. Many Jataka stories originated as folk tales and stories told by ordinary people. Buddhist monks later collected, wrote down, and preserved these stories in written form. They were used to teach moral values and Buddhist principles. You know. Question number 7. On the basis of their distribution, resources can be classified as what? Renewable and non-renewable, biotic or abiotic, uni, ubiquitous and localized, or actual and potential. So when it comes to distribution, of resources, it has to be actual and potential, because we are talking. Oh, wait a second. Now, actual and potential resources is about how many or types of resources that are available. Renewable, you understand, but ubiquitous and localized, that is classified as what? Distribution, because what is in local or what is in outside. So that is why our answer is ubiquitous and localized resources. It might be pronounced differently, but ubiquitous. So here's the distribution. Based on the distribution, resources are classified into ubiquitous resources, that is found everywhere. Example: air, sunlight, water, paper. Like I said, ubiquitous, that is everywhere outside. Localized is found only in specific places, that is in a certain place. Example: coal, petroleum, iron ore, natural gas, and other classification. Wait a second. Another classification: renewable and non-renewable are what? Based on exhaustibility. If you can renew that in a short amount of time, or that is not renewable. If you used coal, it cannot be renewed so easily, but if you use water, it is renewable and it is fast renewable. Biotic and abiotic are based on origin, living and non-living. Actual and potential based on development and use. That is how it can be used in today or near future in 15 years later. Potential is something that might be used in what? 20-30 years later. So that sort of thing. Question number 8. Shelter beds help in what? Option: retaining soil moisture, slowing down the flow of the water over soil, preventing gullies and hence further soil loss, or checking wind movement to protect soil cover. Your answer is checking wind movement to protect soil cover. That is the Help of shelter belts. Shelter belts are rows of trees, shrubs planted along field to reduce the speed of the wind. Do you get that? They help by what? Reducing wind speed, prevent wind erosion of soil, protect crops from strong winds, commonly used in dry and semi-arid regions such as parts of Rajasthan. Question number 9. Films can be used as an effective pedagogy tool in the social science classroom because films can bring the world into the classroom. Films inspire us with the power of discovering the unseen and the unheard contexts. Films bring stories, voices, and images that in life may be far removed from us, right? Films are objective medium which can encourage learners to frame their views in singular manner. No, it does not frame their view in singular manner, it frame their views in multiple manners. So the answer is ABC except D. Films are not always objective, they often reflect particular viewpoints or interpretation. In social science education, films are used to encourage critical thinking and multiple perspective, not a singular viewpoint. That is why option D is wrong, but A, B, and C are correct. Question number 10. The main aim of social science teacher should be to develop competition among students. No, that is completely wrong. To develop an awareness of connection between all elements that shape the set, that is the correct answer. To make learner memorize, no, we are not going to memorize, that is totally wrong. To prepare learners in maintaining the status quo, no, if we are doing status to, that is totally wrong. So the answer is only B, to develop an awareness of connection between all elements that shape society. Question number 11. An example of secondary source is what? Constitution of India. It's a primary source because it is there. Census report, that is also primary source. Record of registration of birth and death, that is also primary source. Our past NCERT book in history of classics, so that is secondary source because this book is compilation of many things from many books and other things. So the answer is our past. A secondary source is what? Is a source that interprets, analyzes, or explains information collected from primary sources. So likewise, everything you read in class 6, uh, book, they were not original, they were collected from other sources. you know Constitution of India, that is primary because original legal documents. Census report, also primary. Record of registration of birth and death, that is 100% primary source. But our past is explains and interprets historical information from various primary sources, right? Question number 12. The Forest Rights Act 2006, in its title, recognizes the rights of which category? Scheduled tribe or scheduled caste, economic backward classes, or most backward classes. So, as you can say, forest tribe, there has to be tribes, so scheduled tribes, not caste anything, that is scheduled tribes. Question number 13. Who among the following appoints the governor of a state in India? Member of Legislative Assembly, or members of the Parliament, or central government, or Attorney General? Your answer is what? Central government appoints that. Question number 14. What are the D.K. Vasu guidelines which were laid down by the Supreme Court of India? Options: guidelines related to prevention of sexual harassment and workplace, guidelines related to protection of children from hazardous employment, guidelines related to protection of women from domestic violence, or guidelines related to procedure to be followed by the police for arrest, detention, and interrogation. So the answer is fourth because it is DK Basu guideline is related to the procedure to be followed by the police for arrest, detention, and interrogation. Question number 15. Who among the following is not a rural administration officer? Patwari, he is a rural administrative officer. Obviously, municipal ward councillor is not a rural administration officer, so that is your answer. Land record officer and Lekpal, they are also work through rural, but the answer is municipal ward. He is not a rural administrative officer. Question number 16. In 1997, the Supreme Court in India formulated the Vishaka guidelines to protect women from sexual harassment in vehicles, at workplaces, or in marital relationship or states. Answer is at workplaces. Question number 17. The southern part of India, particularly Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, receives rainfall in autumn because winds move back from the mainland to the Bay of Bengal, or winds blow from Arabian Sea to Bay of Bengal, or winds blow from Bay of Bengal to Arabian Sea, or winds move back from mainland to Arabian Sea? Answer is wind moves back from the mainland to the Bay of Bengal. Question number 18. Which of the following is not a feature of Peninsular Plateau? It lies to the south of Northern Plains, or Aravalli Hills border is on the northwest side, or it is rich in mineral like coal and iron ore, or its rivers Mahanadi and Krishna are some of the west flowing rivers in the plateau. Which of the following is not a feature? So of Peninsular Plateau. Rivers Mahanadi and Krishna are some of the east flowing plateau, I think. Yes, they are not west flowing plateau. So features of Peninsular Plateau is it lies in the south of northern Plains, that is correct. Aravalli is border is on the north side, yes. It is rich minerals like yes, but River Mahanadi and Krishna are some of the east flowing rivers in the plateau, not west flowing. So the answer is it says not. So the question asks for not a feature, so that is features because Mahanadi and Krishna are east flowing rivers, not west flowing rivers. They originated in the peninsular plateau and drain into the Bay of Bengal. Question number 19. Which of the following not a feature of representative democracy? Representativeness chosen through election, decision making in the hand of the representative, direct participation of people in decision making, or franchise right of people. So the answer is direct participation of people in decision making, because we give power to the representative. They make that decision for us. We don't directly participate in the country's decision making. Question number 20. But we do protest. We have the right to protest. Likewise, the protest happening in Delhi Jantar Mantar, because it's children's right to question the government about paper leaks and everything. So it's their rights. That is why protest. But they were not. If the students and people that we are, if we are in the, if we are happen to be in the decision making, we would have thought that we would have sacked whoever is wrong. We would have resigned them or fired them, or make them quit, or fired them, if we are in the decision making process, but we are not. That is why we have, all we can do is protest, and when comes put, we choose the right person. That is our power as a people in representative democracy. Question number 20. Which of the following statement is incorrect in the historical reconstruction of tribal people? Contemporary historians and travelers gave scanty information about tribes, or most tribal groups kept written records. No, no, it's incorrect. No tribal groups kept written records. Tribal people preserved rich customs, that is to rich customs and oral tradition, that is correct. Tribal societies depend on each other for their diverseness, that is also correct. But the answer option B is wrong. Most tribal groups kept written records. No, that is incorrect, because they don't keep any written records. Nowadays they might do, but in the early times no. Question number 21. What is true in the context of administration and consolidation? Under the Khaljis and Tughlaqs, Delhi Sultanates, large part of the subcontinent remained under the control of Delhi Sultans, or the forested area in the Gangetic Plains were penetrated for the first time. It was difficult to control distant provinces like Bengal from Delhi, or Alauddin Khalji and Muhammad Tughlaq forced their control in the Gangetic Plains for a longer duration. Your answer is See, it is difficult to control distant provinces like Bengal from Delhi. That is correct. That is why what is true in context of administration and consolidation under Khaljis and Tughlaqs Delhi Sultanate, because it is difficult to control distant provinces like Bengal from Delhi. So here is the elaboration. During the rule of Khaljis and Tughlaqs in the Delhi Sultanate, communication and transports were slow. They don't have train or plane or cars nowadays. As a result, provinces far away from Delhi, especially Bengal, often became independent or rebel. They rebel because there were no high power to maintain them. The NCERT specifically mentioned that it was difficult for Delhi Sultanate to keep effective control over such distant regions. Why the others are incorrect? Options for a large part of the subcontinent did come under Delhi Sultanate influence at the times, but not continuously under direct control. This is too broad. The forested areas of the Ganga plain had already been penetrated, of course, and settled much earlier, not for the first time under Khalsis and Tulus. Those came before them, they also penetrated and already settled. Alauddin Khalji and Muhammad Tughlaq expanded control, but the statement about forcing control in the Gangetic Plains for a long duration is not recognized feature of their admission. That is also correct. But your answer is what? Yes, it was difficult to control Bengal from Delhi. Question number 22. How did the Harappan civilization came to an end? It appears as if the ruler lost control. That might be true. There could have been deforestation in the area. Maybe there were floods in the entire area of civilization. That also can be true. The rivers dried up. So the river dried up is something that is shady because of historical and geographical thing in those river and everything. But that is not very convincing. But rest three are true. That is why. Wait a second. There are floods in the entire area of civilization. So maybe the reverse drive anything can be possible. This question doesn't have precise answer. There are floods in the entire area of civilization. People can survive in flood. River dried up, the starvation and everything. So the answer says A, B, and D, but I think it's everything. Let's see what it says. Historians and archaeologists suggest several possible reasons for the decline of Harappan civilization. So they just suggest, nobody for real or reality understand because this happens like 3,000 years, 4,000 years ago. So it is hard to know what actually happened, but there are possible reasons. That is hypothetical reason. Let's talk into it. It appears as if rural stores control. Yes, cities can become less organized and urban centers decline. Maybe there could have been a deforestation area, of course. That, as you can say, there could have been, and as if, and maybe, that sort of thing, because these are not precise answer. But we have to read and put a constant to a certain point, the central point, so we understand that there could have been deforestation. Of course, large quantities of wood were needed for fuel and construction, which may have affected the environment. That is also may be true. Rivers were dried up. Probably changes in river course and drying up, of some rivers may have reduced water availability and affected agriculture. But as you can see, they are smart. They could have dig a well, deep well or anything. But these are just hypothetical changes in river course, everything. There were floods in the entire area of civilization. So the flood did occur in some places such as Mohenjo-daro, but there is no evidence that the entire Harappan regions was flooded. Therefore the statement is correct, but that statement cannot be totally incorrect. If there were flood in Harappan, there might be flood in some other region too. So this question is on the line. The decline of Harappan civilization is generally explained by a combination of factors such as environment changes, river shift, deforestation, weakening administrative control, not by one single cause. So the only wrong answer it is to give them that. But we don't know the exact answer. How did Harappan civilization decline? Question number 23. Below are two statements A and B in context of emergence of nation state in Europe in 18th and 19th century. Statement A: till the 18th century, people in Europe saw themselves as nation states. A consciousness was created in the early 19th century among the people that each linguistic community was separate nation. Both A and B are correct, and B is the correct interpretation of A. Both A and B are correct, but B is not the correct interpretation of A. A is correct, B is wrong, and A is wrong, B is correct. So the answer is A is wrong, but B is correct. So statement A is wrong because until the 18th century, most people in Europe identified themselves by their local region, village, kingdom, dynasty, religion, or ruler, not as a member of nation states. You know, Modern nation states such as Germany and Italy did not yet existed in their unified forms. But statement B is correct because during the 19th century, the growth of nationalism led many people to believe that those sharing a common language, culture, and history formed a distinct nation. The idea encouraged movements for national unification and independence across Europe. So that's what happened. Question number 24. Which of the following may be considered as primary source of understanding early humans in India? Kangra style painting, Girnar rock inscription, uh, Patshahnama painting or rock paintings of Madhya Pradesh? Your answer is rock painting of Madhya Pradesh because a primary source is evidence that comes directly from the period being studied. Like Kangra style painting, medieval, early modern painting is not related to early humans because this happens in medieval times. Girnar rock inscription, ancient inscription, not as associated with Ashoka. That is not also early humans, but it dates to historical period long after early humans. That is long after early humans. Early humans comes long before them. And Patshahnama painting, a Mughal period painting not related to prehistoric human, but the early man is rock paintings of Madhya Pradesh. This prehistoric painting, especially those at Bhimbetka rock shelters, provide direct evidence about the lives, activities, and environment of early humans. That is, you know, before Harappan civilization. There are Bhimbetka we already studied in class 1, 2, and 3, and we are going to study more in the upcoming classes. So stay tuned with us. Question number 25. Below are the two statements in the context of the new popular Indian art in the 19th century. Statement A. Many paintings mock at the changes they saw around, ridiculing the new tastes of those who speak in English and warn against women moving out of their homes. Statement B. Image were used to express nationalist ideas and inspire people against British rule. Both A and B are correct, and B is the correct interpretation of A. Both A and B are correct, and B is not the correct interpretations of A. A is correct, B is wrong, A is wrong, B is correct. So the answer is what? Both A and B are correct, but B is not the correct interpretation of A. Statement A is correct because both are correct, but not the interpretation. Why we are going to do that? Statement A is correct because in the 19th century, with the government of growth of printing and popular art forms such as the Bathala prints and the Kalighat paintings, many artists satirized social changes. They mocked people who imitated Western manners and spoke English, like why they are pretending to be English and everything. So they mock them through art and this new fashion and lifestyles. Women stepping outside traditional domestic rules, doing English stuff. That is also correct. Nowadays, if you see all Indian people are following Western, so that happened long before that. Statement B is also correct because later, especially during the rise of Indian nationalism, artists used image and prints to, spread national messages, portray India as a mother figure, inspire resistance to British rule. They do that through, nowadays if you see the protest, they are holding a picture, memes, and everything. Before that, they used what? Art and things to, you know as a symbol, and to use them in a certain way to what? To prove their point, to prove their ideologies, to prove what they are asking for. So that sort of thing. But however, B does not explain or interpret A. The true statement refers to different purpose of popular art. First, popular art is to mock, and next, second, popular art is to, you know, showcase country's richness, but they are not related. So thus one does not interpret other. A concerns different purpose for popular art. For example, A concerns social satire and criticism of changing society, but B concerns national propaganda and anti-colonial sentiment. Both statements are true, but B is not the correct interpretation of A. Question number 26. Below are two statements A and B in the context of contemporary debates on dates and periods of Indian history. Statement A periodization like Hindu Muslim British is appropriate as the religion of rulers have been the only important historical change. That is pretty wrong. In my opinion, statement B, it is problematic to assign precise dates and time spent to historical processes that happened over a period of time. Both A and B are correct, or B is the correct interpretation of A. Both A and B are correct, but not the correct interpretation. A is correct, B is wrong, A is wrong, B is correct. So the answer, I also think that A is wrong, but B is correct. Statement A is wrong because the periodization of Indian history into Hindu Muslim British was proposed by colonial historian James Mill. He talked about Hindu being the age of chaos, Muslim being the age of darkness, and British being the age of innovation. So he was proposed by historian James Mill. Historian criticized this classification because it assumed that the religion of assumes that the religion of rulers was the most important factor in the history. That is totally wrong. It ignores changes in economy, society, cultural, technology, administration, and politics. Not all rulers in period followed the same religion, nor did religion alone determine historical developments. Therefore, saying that such periodization is appropriate because religion was the only important historical change is totally incorrect. It is inappropriate. So that is totally wrong. Statement B is correct because historians often find it difficult to assign exact dates to historical processes because many changes occur gradually over long periods. For example, urbanization, spread of agriculture, rise of kingdom nations, everything over a long period of time. You cannot pinpoint a certain time that this happened in 7 p.m. of May 13 in the age 600 BC. You cannot pinpoint that. So that's the thing. All developed over decades or centuries rather than beginning or ending of a single date. Move on to question number 28. Below are the two statements in the context of new popular Indian art in the 19th century. Many paintings mock the changes they saw. Okay, we already did that. Inspire against British. Yes, major expression inspiring British. Yes, is correct, but is not the correct interpretation. Yes, we already did that. Explanation is especially Kaligat. Yeah, we already did that. And Bharat Mata inspiration against British, but because this yes, I get this. Question number 28. Match the following: Narmada Valley with what? Bajji, Garo Hills, Gunga Valley, and Indus and its tributaries. So the Indus and its tributaries are what fast cities. If it is E4, so with that the answer is C. Likewise, if you can pinpoint one, you can do is also. What happens is Narmada Valley is hunting and gathering. Vajji is early republic. Garo Hills are early agriculture. Agriculture happens early in Garo Hills. Ganga Valley is what? It is about 2,500 years ago, and Indus and its tributaries are the first cities. So here is your answer is C. Question number. So yes, who pointed out Narmada Valley is hunting and gathering, Vajji's early republic, Garo Hills early agriculture, Gunga Valley cities about 2500 years ago, Indus and its tributaries is the first cities. Now, right, question number 929. India's research station that is Maitri is located in Australia, Antarctica, Europe, or Asia. Everybody knows that. Your answer is Antarctica. Antarctica. And the last question of the day, identify the source of energy from the given feature A and B. It is a conventional source of energy. This source of energy is released when crude oil is brought to surface. And the answer is what? Natural gas. Right. So anyway, we came to, yeah, it was hard because I did not really have the time or energy to come even to these notes. We made in a after before a long time, but I did not have that energy to even come near them. I was going with many family issues and everything, but yes, thank god we finally did one, and hopefully we will do continuously from now until at least August 15, and then you guys revision and everything. We did what, the fourth one of social studies, and we'll do fourth of. So right now we'll upload what, fourth 30 question compilation of CDP and social studies, and tomorrow hopefully do the fifth one. And I hope you stick with me and everything, and you help me, you motivate me to make more questions, better questions, and educate you in every way I can. And yeah, that is very helpful for me, and I hope to be helpful for you too. you know Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to this channel. That is Jack Slater. No, study hard and work smart, and I hope the voice systems also improve. We had very noises coming in, but right now I think we solve that problem, so it will be better for your hearing and everything. Anyway, goodbye and have a nice day, and yes, keep working hard and everything. Goodbye and have a nice day, guys.